Paul Broca said this: "There are in the human mind a group of faculties and in the brain groups of convolutions, and the facts assembled by science so far allow to state, as I said before, that the great regions of the mind correspond to the great regions of the brain." Richard D. Broadwell told us that we sit on the threshold of important new advances in neuroscience that will yield increased understanding of how the brain functions and of more effective treatments to heal brain disorders and diseases. How the brain behaves in health and disease may well be the most important question in our lifetime. Archie Bunker saying, "You'd better start mixing toothpaste with your shampoo. You're getting a cavity in your brain." George Bush's talk. I, George Bush, President of the United States of America, do hereby proclaim the decade beginning January 1st, 1990, as the decade of the brain. I call upon all public officials and the people of the United States to observe that decade with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. Pierre Cabanis's words: "Impressions arriving at the brain make it enter into activity, just as food falling into the stomach excites it to more abundant secretion of gastric juice." Santiago Ramon y Cajal said this: "As long as our brain is a mystery, the universe, the reflection of the structure of the brain, will also be a mystery." Santiago Ramon y Cajal also said this: "The brain is a world consisting of a number of unexplored continents and great stretches of unknown territory." Santiago Ramon y Cajal saying, "Every man, if he so desires, becomes sculptor of his own brain." Santiago Ramon y Cajal's talk, "To Know the Brain," is equivalent to ascertaining the material course of thought and will, to discovering the intimate history of life in its perpetual duel with external forces. Tim Birkhead's words: "Although we tend to think of the brain as a discrete organ, a lump of squidgy tissue, it is better to think of it as part of an elaborate network of nervous tissue that reaches out to every single part of the body." Keith Black said this: "If you look at the anatomy, the structure, the function, there's nothing in the universe that's more beautiful, that's more complex than the human brain." Colin Blakemore's words: "The brain struggling to understand the brain is society trying to explain itself." Susan Blakemore's talk: "In proportion to our body mass, our brain is 3 times as large as that of our nearest relatives. This huge organ is dangerous and painful to give birth to, expensive to build, and, in a resting human, uses about 20% of the body's energy, even though it is just 2% of the body's weight. There must be some reason for all this evolutionary expense.